November soybeans closed up 6 3/4 at 12.83 3/4. January up 6.5 at 12.93 1/2. March up 6 at 12.98 1/2. May up 5 3/4 at 13.04. Soybean meal up 80 cents a ton at 338.10. Chicago wheat up 3 3/4 at 7.10 1/4. October live cattle down 22 cents at 121.77. December down 45 at 127.05. September feeders down 12 at 154.27. October down 150 at 154.62. October lean hogs down 87 cents to close at 90.80, and December up 2 cents at 83.60. I'm Dwayne Murley.
Michael Devine at AM 1400 KVFD, banging Monday through Friday from 2 to 5.
Do you know that, Terry? I'm banging.
You're banging?
I'm banging.
Is that the new word on the street?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I thought it sounded cool, but now that it's done, now that it's been produced and I have it, it doesn't sound all that cool.
Yeah. Did you trademark it?
You know, people ask me, banging? What do you mean? Who you banging? You know, I don't really know.
We all know the answer to that.
I just don't know, Terry.
We could probably take a guess.
All right. Okay. Well, City Councilman Dr. Terry Menke is here. He's, he sells glasses.
Sorting through my paperwork over here.
Sorting through your paperwork. I wonder why I don't have you over here.
I don't know.
I don't know. I have
maybe I'm not worthy.
No. Oh, come on, man. Deep in your heart. Well, not even deep in your heart. You are constantly aware of your own superiority.
Yeah.
I've known you a long time.
And
I know that you think I should worship at your feet, but somehow I could never do it.
No, I'm fine. Thanks.
You're
anyway.
okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. I don't need that kind of love fest.
I don't know. I think you do.
Yeah.
I think you do.
I had a lot of stuff written down to talk about today, but I left it on my desk somewhere. So I guess we're just going to have to wing it.
Going to have to wing it. Come
on. You're going to have to ask me deep questions that'll take a long time to ponder.
Penetrating questions.
Yeah.
You know, I've been summoned for jury duty. Well, I haven't been summoned, but I've gotten a notice that in the month of November, I'm in the jury pool.
Yep.
So don't commit any crimes. You'll get the death penalty for a traffic ticket if I'm on the jury.
I had that. When was that, right? It was last year when COVID first hit. I was in the first jury pool that they had. We met out at the school administration building.
Oh, really?
Because we all had to separate, and stay separate. And it was a case that the gentleman got involved with the police officer and then decided that he'd take off on a joy run. And
I understand.
I wasn't selected. I was set aside. But
I've been stopped many times in my life, sometimes when I was tempted to take off in my younger, crazier days.
Yeah.
But I usually would be driving something like a 20-year-old 56 Pontiac Super Chief, and I'd floor it and go,
321 motor. Yeah, that's and that I was talking to one of the sheriffs the other day about that, the number of people that are taken off here recently. I can't quite figure that out. It seems like there's a lot of chases, a lot of abandoned
because
vehicles.
The penalty isn't there for it.
Yeah, well, the thing.
No, really, you don't get penalized much for running from the cops. So if I'm on the jury, death penalty.
We don't have a death penalty,
don't we?
No,
we'll get one going.
They're picking the corn though, so I mean, it's
they're picking. Yes, they are.
It's going to be harder for them to hide.
By the way, Jesse Green is coming in after.
I saw that. There's a little bit of a shake-up.
How did you see it?
I didn't see. Well, that's I talked to you about that. You really need to publicize who's going to be on, so I can pay better attention.
Half the time, I don't know.
Yeah, but their realignment now. Jesse might be running against Tim Kreinbrink if Tim decides to run again.
I don't know. I don't know what'll happen there. I'll ask Jesse. He might move. Really, he might. I mean, he's a farmer. He's a single man. He could move to closer to Boone.
Yeah.
Or Tim might not run.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Tim and Jesse in the Senate. Tim's done an outstanding job, I think.
Yeah.
He keeps kind of referring to me as a nobody. I wish, sometimes he comes right out and says it. Sometimes he just implies it. But when the guy's, like 6'4" and he's got shoulders that, go across the room, it's kind of hard to, say anything to him.
Yeah. Don't you hate that when they pin you down like that right away?
Well, I don't know, but I've always got a, like a 2x4 under the counter here. So I'm okay. Yeah. Of course, Big Dutchman, that might not bother him. Oh, you want to play? Ha, ha, ha. Give me an Arnold Schwarzenegger thing, Oh, you want to play?
I guess that's just a sign of the migration from the rural communities into the metropolitan areas, as our younger kids aren't sticking around the way they used to, and we need to get our young people back so we can get the population stabilized, show a little bit of growth. And again, I think that's one thing we've worked real hard on is with the industries that we're attracting. The county is obviously very aggressive with the Iowa Crossroads of Global Innovation. We've been very good, I think, in the last few years addressing the housing issue, which has always been one of our top strategic points. That District 29, is that what it's called out there?
Yeah.
That's going to be opening soon. I talked to John Michaels the other day, and they're staging out there, getting some of the apartments set up for some tours and whatever. And I guess it's very, very soon. People have signed contracts to move in. So people have asked for the housing, and I think the city has been very aggressive trying to get that housing done and ready. And
we really haven't talked about streets in a long time, and the streets are still in this town just a living hell.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Well,
because my favorite.
I'm glad you're God.
But because the favorite time of the year for me is basically this time of the year. A couple weeks ago, the Iowa DOT released the street report, which is the city of Fort Dodge, shows how much money we've actually spent on streets, how much money we received, and how much
I'm sure it's millions
and millions of dollars.
It takes millions and millions of dollars
to
do a small thing. Even back when I was doing road construction work 20 years ago, a mile of asphalt was $1 million.
Yeah, it still is about $1 million. Yeah. But we took in lost revenue last year, $4.2 million in lost revenue. Road use tax, we had $3.7 million brought in. So we're spending a lot of money. We've got, several projects that have got new streets associated with them. Every time we put a sewer line, water line in, we have to put new streets in.
Right.
Are the streets going to be done in a timely fashion? Probably not, because we're probably, 10, 15 years behind in the replacements. But we've got them all graded. We know which the bad streets are. We know which ones need repair. We're continuing to work on, the streets and the bridges, potholes. It's a never-ending issue in February every single year. But we're spending anywhere from $3 to $6 million a year on street repairs, and all that money, it is not property tax money. That money all is from the lost revenue. None of your property taxes go to street repairs, but I want to back up a little bit, because a couple years ago we had a bond issue where we put $1 million in to do some street repairs. That's back when 2nd Avenue North kind of fell apart on us, and we had to redo that.
Right.
And so we were able to convince David to bond for that, and that is being paid back with the debt service, which is part of the property tax payback. The $4.67, I think, of your tax per thousand will go to that. But
David Ferrico always acts like he's a helpless pawn of you all-powerful council people.
We know better than that.
Yeah, we do know.
We know better than that. Trust me.
I mean, look at the council people. What, are they going to stand up to the amazing David Ferrico?
Yeah, we actually, in the last couple of years, usually once a year, the city council, David is our employee, and Jeff Nemmers, the city clerk, and Big Mark Crimmins. Those are the only three people.
Big Mark?
Yeah, Big Mark. Those are the only three people that the city council actually, theoretically oversees, employees, can hire and fire. And last year with COVID, we didn't have our annual review. This year, we haven't had an annual review. So eventually, I guess we're going to sit down. We'll probably evaluate their performance. It's always pretty painless, because I think everybody's doing a great job. I think ever since David came on board, we've had new direction in the city. I think we've been focused on different projects, and I think we're doing very well with David at the helm. And I think Jeff, we can't ask for a better clerk than what Jeff Nemmers has been.
You're referring to Nemmers as a clerk?
He's a city clerk.
He'll come over here and slap you around, and probably me too.
He could. And of course, Mark Crimmins, he's our lawyer. He's, you can't argue.
The
with
city
Mark.
attorney?
City attorney, yeah. And he handles a lot of the, day-by-day things that the city council never sees. He's also involved in the Wakansa project, with the lawsuit with the KDG group. So he does a lot of work. Mark does a lot of work kind of behind the scenes. I don't have
Hey,
much.
this is his town.
Yep. And I don't have.
Blows my mind that Mark is Kevin's younger brother.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah. And Denny,
Denny
the whole
and
group. Yep.
The whole group?
Yeah, the whole group. The clan, as we
David,
call it.
of course.
Yep. He's still doing his furniture moving business out there. And so it's quite the
David is? I thought that
Yep.
was Dennis. No, Dennis doesn't.
Denny is.
Doesn't Max Crimmins run that now? Denny's son,
Oh,
White
Max-
Transfer and Storage. You mean?
No, Ben runs. Ben is
Ben, I beg
Ben's
your
got
pardon.
some kind of title. Max, I'm sure, has some kind of title. Max is like warehouse supervisor. Of course, they got a lot of warehouses out there, and they're building another one. They got the concrete poured for another addition,
yeah.
so they're going to have a lot of big blue buildings out there. So yeah, but anyway, so those are the three people that we kind of watch: is Mark and Jeff and David. And they've done a very good job, and I don't think anybody's really been too critical of their performance. I remember when I first got on council, I couldn't have said that because there was some people on the council that didn't think David was quite up to snuff, but those people have moved on.
They didn't believe that. They just wanted to fire him. I mean, it was in their paperwork. Remember that was their reason for running. Here's our reasons for running. Fire David Ferry.
I actually have that on my desk somewhere. I kept a copy of that just to kind of look at what their demands were. And surprisingly, some of those things that we've actually done over the years, but it takes time. And everybody keeps saying it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And I'm slowly beginning to understand that. So, yeah. So anyway, the streets, I mean, even with the Olson Park shelter that we can talk about shortly, there was some comments made on a Facebook post about fix our streets. Why are we wasting money on something like this? Completely different funding source. I mean, half of that money almost half of it was donated by a lady that passed away, left a memorial gift. And so we used that money to help take care of the shelter, and we had a geo bond for that. So it's completely different from the streets, completely different funding source. Again, it's the streets are never ending. We're doing the best we can. We're kind of experimenting with some different pothole mixes. I haven't got the report back from Brett Daniel yet with Public Works, but there's a variety of new methods to handle potholes to make them last longer. Not the potholes, but the filling of them. And again, if you report them, they'll go fix them. But again, this isn't the time of the year. This is just road deterioration this time of the year. You're a very popular guy.
I am.
Just extend that warranty and just move on with it.
All right.
Yeah. Just tell them you on your old Durango. Tell them you want to extend your warranty.
Okay.
But anyway, the streets, we're spending anywhere from $3 to $5 million, which is a lot more than we used to spend. Again, if you have a problem with your road, make sure you let us know. There's a lot of roads that construction has taken place on and will continue to take place on. But again, it all takes money, as you pointed out. $1 million doesn't go very far.
Well,
anymore.
for a long time, we couldn't spend any money at all. Not on roads. Couldn't get a school. Nothing.
Yeah.
Because the town, as you recall, some were suggesting we should just
close
up Central Avenue and get out the golf carts, and everybody could get up and down Central Avenue on golf carts.
Yep. Roll up the sidewalk,
which is a nice little dying community, retirement community / retirement community type thing.
Yeah.
And it still might happen. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we've talked, there was an article in Des Moines Register the other day about towns that were unincorporating because they couldn't afford their infrastructure anymore. They can't afford their water. They can't afford their sewer. They can't afford to fix their streets. And that's something we've been very aggressive with. I think having capital improvement plans, which will be coming up shortly, we'll be talking about that at City Hall, kind of prioritizing what we think we should be looking at over the next couple of years. And again, that's all dependent on the funding coming in, but we've been very good, I think, at identifying projects. We've got projects scheduled out over the next 5 to 7 years. Chad Schaefer has been very good at creating flow sheets. And, again, we prioritize. And if the funding's available, we try to get the project done. So we're well aware of the fact that our city streets need some work. We try to take care of the well-traveled streets first. If something happens or something needs to be done, those are the ones we attack first because those are the ones that a lot of people are driving on. But some of these side streets, they're working on side streets that were on the agenda last year. 16th Street, 17th, 18th were all done by Fort Dodge Asphalt over the last couple of weeks. And so those roads were terrible. I mean, they were all alligator cracked and it was really bad shape, but those are all done. The country club was 40 years. They've been trying to get that road fixed out there. We got that done last year.
In the old days, the country club road would have got done. I'll tell you.
Well, the problem with that one was there was one way in and one way out. And so they did the crack, but they actually came in and fragmented the concrete and used that as the base and then came over the top with the asphalt. So it was only one day actually when people had a hard time getting to their homes back in there. So, I think they're very appreciative of that. And as we talked about before, somebody did drive through the entryway on the fresh concrete. And last week, Public Works did a segment of concrete, and somebody decided to walk through it. So they had to come back the next day, break it up, and redo it again. So,
Jeez.
yeah. So it's, you can't fix stupid, as Ron White says.
Ron White
But,
can't fix.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure you're going to hear that ongoing, even the new candidates. I'm sure that's going to be one of the things.
Oh, come on. The new candidates are the old candidates. How many times have we seen Richard Higgins and Eugene Melvin Newsom run anyway?
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
I don't know why Gene doesn't or Melvin doesn't give it up and just run for the presidency.
I don't. He may have. I don't
He
know.
may have. Yeah,
I don't-
he's giving him the
I
shot.
don't know.
I like Melvin.
Yeah, he's a nice man.
I like him.
I've talked to him a little bit. He's fun at the forums, which is coming up on October 7th, I believe. I think the primary is October 5th, and then they'll have the forums on the 7th out at Iowa Central. The Growth Alliance Legislative Committee will have that, and the at-large candidates will be there, the 4 that remain after the primary, and then Kim's Ward 4, will also have. They'll be at the forum too. Cameron Nelson doesn't have an opponent in Ward 2, and Dave Flattery doesn't have an opponent in Ward 3, and I don't have an opponent in Ward 1.
Well, because you're unbeatable.
Well, no, that's not true.
Come on, man.
We all fear the write-in votes.
I think we should have a street named after you.
And I think that was
Minky
I
Avenue.
think I was tried once before.
I think
and
it was.
Wasn't
Yes.
me. Wasn't me. And I vaguely remember.
Terry
you,
Minky Street.
You actually had a sign
Up
with his
there's
name.
a Taylor Avenue
Yeah,
out in the country. Yeah, so I had that on my Facebook
Yeah.
page.
So anyway, that's going to be coming up. So I advise you to listen to the candidates, hear what they have to say. Again, those that haven't been in the mix probably aren't as aware of some of the details as those of us that have been in the trenches for a few years. But
How long you been on the council now?
this will be my 8th year. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's been a long time. I hate to think of it, but it's a lot of time, and I think this will be my last time. I think I can make that announcement now that this will probably be my last.
You're announcing on my show that you're
Yeah.
not going to run again
Yeah,
after this term.
I'm not going to run again.
You
I wasn't
know,
going to run last time, so
I do want to say, and I'm glad to see this. I see Don Wilson in church every now and then.
Yeah. And
he comes right over and he's just as friendly as he can be and glad to see me and all those sorts of things. And there was a time that wasn't true. But he's a good Christian man, apparently, and lives by his faith, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. Don and I didn't agree on everything. And
Yeah.
Dean and I didn't agree on everything. And I think everybody on the council and I have disagreed on some points at some point.
That's only human.
Yeah. And there's some things that I'm passionate about, like Olson Park, that other people
Mhm.
may not be. The
Lutz wasn't. The great Satan.
Yeah, the Central River District, 3rd Avenue Northwest. I mean, those are things that I've really pushed for over the years, and it's been very, very difficult to get anybody excited about them. But now I can say that we've had a little bit of a change, and we're able to move forward. I think the riverfront is our greatest asset in this community that's untapped. I think we need to do a lot of work down there.
But to really get it going, Terry, that's millions.
Yeah, millions of dollars. But again, we've got a good start. I mean, taking the dams out did give us a couple $1 million and a little bit of a chance to do some work on the riverfront to make it more attractive. The engineering is progressing on that. I was hoping to get some of the work done this fall. Not me personally, but the contract left and engineering done. But when I checked last week, Chad Schaefer told me that 90% of the engineering has been done on the little dam area. The hydroelectric dam area will probably be down the road just a little bit as we sell some of our stream bank credits, which has been going very slow.
Mm-hmm.
But down by where the nature center
stream bank credits.
Yeah.
What are those?
Stream bank credits. When we did a project taking the dams out, we created actually with the Corps of Engineers has a process, and there's something with the Iowa DOT and DNR. They have an opportunity for other organizations to come in instead of doing work to stabilize stream banks. Say they have a bridge project or a road project, that culvert that goes across the stream or across the river. They either actually have to follow certain procedures or they can buy credits and do less. So we actually have an opportunity to sell the credits so that the people don't have to spend as much money fixing it up to DNR standards. So we've got, I think, there's like 10,000 credits right now, a couple $1 million that we could sell. There hasn't been a lot of construction last year, again, through a little kink in the construction season, and costs have gone up. So a lot of these people haven't done much. But we do have an opportunity for people to save some money on some of these projects that are crossing and affecting our waterways. So that's kind of our bank that we're hoping to eventually tap into to continue our riverfront improvements. Right now, we've got $2 million left over because the dam deconstruction came in less money than what we had budgeted for.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd actually had a geo bond set aside with some money for the dams, and we ended up not spending all of it. So we've got about $2 million in an account. We're going to use 1.4 million of that down in the Little Dam area, building out some jetties and building some parking places down there, making it a little bit more of a park area. And then we're doing some dirt work up by where the nature center is on the east side of the road, where we've got to do some prep work up there. And so about $600,000 been set aside to do dirt work up in that area. I talked to Matt Cosgrove about 3-4 weeks ago about the progress on the nature center. There's some permitting that has to be done because it is floodplain, and you've got all these different regulations that they have to do and hoops that they have to jump through. And then we're also going to do some road construction on First Street. So all those things have to be let and kind of coordinated. So it'll probably be next spring before we see a lot of that work done. But we've got the money set aside for it. Now we just got to get people going on it. So
sure.
It'll be good when it's done. It's going to be a great asset. A lot of wildlife down there. I think it's going to draw a lot of people down. The fishing has been a little bit bad down on the Des Moines River. People claim that taking the dams out did that. But when you look at the water, I mean, we just haven't had any water in there for a couple of years. So we need I hate to say it, but we need a good snowfall this winter to get the river back up. But at my age, I don't really need to shovel any more snow. I'm done. Hey,
You're done, huh?
Yeah,
I can't do it either.
I know.
It's a good thing for me to get into that condo situation.
Yeah.
Dick Marsh died. Dick Marsh has died at 79 years old. You didn't know Dick Marsh, and I was only acquainted with him, but he just reminded. I used to play cards a little bit with his younger brother. I think it was his younger brother. Fudge was his nickname. I can't remember. Yeah, that was his nickname. He only had one arm, and I don't know, maybe Fudge was older. I don't remember. And I really didn't know those guys very well, but they were fun guys, local characters. And it just reminded me of the time when we had a lot of bars on 6th Street and around the corner on, I think one of the first places I ever went to was the Blue Bomber, which is way back in the day.
I don't remember that.
But that was the old Fort Dodge Saloon District. And that was, again, when the town.
What you refer to as the good old days.
Yeah, what I would refer to as the good old days. I know you were probably working with the Little Sisters of the Poor, but I would hang out in places called the Blue Bomber.
Passing out food.
No, I wasn't passing anything.
No, I was not.
Oh, you were. Yeah, sure. You were.
Michael Devine at AM 1400 KVFD, banging Monday through Friday from 2 to 5.
That's right, between 2 and 5. And we are broadcasting live from the Blue Ribbon Pelham Waters studio. Blue Ribbon Pelham Waters, by the way, is at 612 South 32nd Street here in Fort Dodge. You may contact Blue Ribbon Pelham Waters by calling 576-6481 or online at www.fdwater.com. Yeah, it's 2:32. The news is coming up and more. Why just listen to the Divine Intervention Show when you can watch it? The Blue Ribbon Pelham Water Studio is now streaming video. Check out the show Monday through
volumes of Smart Stacks Pro with RNAi technology, which will provide 3 modes of action against corn rootworm for the strongest biotech defense available. Learn more at smartstackspro.com. Always read and follow IRM, grain marketing, and all other stewardship practices and pesticide label directions. Performance may vary.
They say if you listen hard enough, you can hear the corn grow. It's true. When you're out in the field, you understand its challenges and what it needs to thrive. Channel Seedsmen bring insights from the field to our team of Bayer plant breeders. Their knowledge inspires our product development. From your best ground to your most challenging conditions, our products are designed to perform in your fields. Visit channellistens.com to see our latest innovations. Always read and follow IRM where applicable, grain marketing and all other stewardship practices and pesticide label directions.
Michael Devine at AM 1400 KVFD. If you don't listen to him, you suck.
Well, you heard it here first. If you don't listen to me, and especially City Councilman Menke, you suck. And that's it's pretty much the end of it. Don't forget, we got a big celebration event this Saturday night. Are you coming to Boogie to Randy Hauser downtown in Fort Dodge?
A couple of no, probably not. I've been to the ones in the past, and we've always had a good time at them. It's a very well run event. Thanks to Jim Reed and the Celebration crew for putting
Absolutely.
that on. I mean, anytime we can get people downtown, it's a great thing. My lovely wife's going to be gone this week, and there's too many people, I think, for me to be out and about. So I know you're probably different opinion than me on that, but I just
but we're two extremes. I mean, we grew up different ways. I understand that. You don't have to go as crazy as I did, but by the same time, you should have a life.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you like to go on trips and all of this sort of thing, but I don't know what you do when you're there.
Well,
do you have any fun, or what's going on?
Well, the good thing about it, though, is where I live, everything echoes very nicely. So I'll be able to hear the whole concert from my back deck. So I'll be very, I guess I'll be there, but not there. But, no, I think it's a great event.
I'll be there in spirit.
In spirit. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can handle this.
Yeah. If they brought in like James Taylor or, Joe Bonamassa,
Joe Bonamassa
would be great. He's got
might be out of our price range.
Well, not really. I mean, if we could catch him at the right time, he's not coming through the Northwest or the North Central tier this time on his tour. So maybe we could catch him.
Where's he going this time?
Oh, he's Northeast and
Northeast.
Southern, and then he'll probably take off for England again where he travels. But he's got a new album coming out. Actually, I pre-ordered it, so should be here.
Get me one too, will you?
I did.
Thank you.
Yeah, I always think
it's really nice of you.
Yeah, I always think of you.
Bonamassa's a great. Where did we see him in Des Moines? I bumped into you at.
It was at the Civic Center.
Civic Center. Yeah.
He normally does the 2,500 seat venues. He's very good at that.
Well, how many seats we got at Decker Auditorium? It's
1,100.
1186,
I think. Last time I checked, they might have taken one out. I don't know.
Yeah, George Strait was in town at the same time, so I was very confused. You either had these hipsters that were going to Bonamassa's concert downtown. Or I remember seeing a guy in a 1-ton pickup with Nebraska plates, big old cowboy hat.
I remember that because downtown was quite busy that night.
Yeah, full of pickups.
I've seen him probably 5 times, met him a couple of times. Very, very nice.
Who, George Strait or Bonamassa?
No, Bonamassa.
Okay.
I wouldn't know George Strait if he kicked me.
Yes, you would.
He wears a hat. That's
yes, he does.
Yeah,
big one.
Yeah, big hat. Okay.
Girls love him, I guess.
Well, I guess. I don't know. Last time I checked, I'm not anatomically a female, and I identify as a male. Thanks.
You identify as male?
Yeah, I do.
Well, that's good. Maybe we should get all council people on record.
You should. I'm still waiting for you to bring the candidates on.
Well, see, Nevin Conrad last time said he was a little surprised when I got up at city council meeting, asked a single question.
Yeah.
Are any of you in favor of defunding the police?
Absolutely not.
And most of you look confused, which most of you do look confused anyway. Yeah. So I'm going to go, and I was going to go Monday.
Yeah.
But I was just so worn out. I'd had a big weekend, and I did a big September, really. But anyway, I'm going to go to the next one. I'm going to ask what you identify as, male or female. And I bet I get a couple of unusual responses from a couple of our city council people.
Right. Most of the time we're lectured to, we're not asked questions. That's
no, I'm just going to ask what you identify as, she, he, him, or what.
You're going to give us some kind of a sheet or something where we can read up on this and ask.
Well, apparently there's multiple identities, and I was just wanting to make sure.
I just walked by, as a matter of fact.
In light of the fact that I went to my class reunion, not last weekend, but the week before.
Yeah.
One of my classmates, a quiet, studious young man, very friendly guy, apparently now is living as a woman in Baltimore.
Well, all the more power to him.
Yeah, all the more power to him. Yeah. Of course, I think it's weird
Yeah. Well,
You
we
know,
still have male and female.
and shouldn't be normalized. But what do I know?
We still have male and female signs on the bathrooms down at City Hall. So
Do you?
yeah, you're
How
gonna have
long
to
will
pick
that
and
last? I wonder.
Probably a long, long time. Ask David next week if you can.
David Ferrick?
Yeah,
He always gives me the look,
yeah, I can
the
understand. that.
Ferrick look.
I don't
you know.
Yeah. Well, if you want to waste our time by asking us such a question, then feel for it.
Waste your time. No. You'll say, I'm a guy. And Flattery will say, I'm a Catholic. Nevin will chuckle.
Yeah.
But there's a couple up there, who may have to think about it.
Well, I don't think that's a big issue.
Halter will say, I'm a dude. you know.
Dude, yeah. Just
So it
not
could be
for-
multiple responses.
Okay. That's good. So anyway, we did have an update. Heart of Iowa Housing Trust Fund that's funded by the low and moderate income money. We had a little update
Is
on
that
that.
state money then?
No, it's partially state, partially ours. Our low and
Where did
moderate.
this come from now? Heart of Iowa.
Heart of Iowa was brought up a couple years ago. We were offered an opportunity to partner with Hamilton County on this. Kim kind of jumped on board. Vicki Reek and Paige Wheeler, who's a great person. Vicki and Paige, those are, I think, a couple of our top key people down at
Mhm.
City Hall. Paige does a lot of abandoned nuisance property complaints and whatever, and she's kind of my go-to person on a lot of the properties that I have problems with. We just have to figure out how to fund them. But anyway, the Heart of Iowa Housing Trust Fund is funded by the low and moderate income money that we're getting back from these projects, the housing projects that qualify for TIF, which is primarily the Williams Bend area. And that's going to generate about $1.4 million in low and moderate income money over the next few years. Some of that money's been diverted, if you want to call it that, to the Heart of Iowa Trust Fund. Hamilton County and Webster County kind of share that. I think Hamilton puts in about a third of what we do because we've got more.
And that
people.
revenue comes from where now?
Low and moderate income housing is part of the TIF payback. So when
TIF payback.
yeah, when the
Explain
TIF
that a little bit more.
well, the TIF money basically is money that's advanced to a organization to help build infrastructure, roads, run water and sewer lines to a lot of these properties. And that's where the money comes from. And we more or less front them where they don't have to pay as many property taxes up front. And what taxes they do end up paying, portion of that will go back to low and moderate income housing. And that's designated by state law percentage. I think it's 40%. So you get 1.4 million. Then you take that times 40, which means that, theoretically, we're probably getting about $3 million from TIF money revenue back from the housing up in the Williams Bend area over the next few years. But the housing fund, trust fund was set up because a lot of these properties that we see around town have bad roofs, windows, need furnaces. And these are people that are.
Have you been to 4th Avenue North?
Yes. I have.
Between 9 and 10th Street.
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
I've been up there several times.
All right.
Yeah.
What are you doing creeping around my neighborhood?
I drive around early in the morning. I hit just about every area in town at some point. So look out your window.
You're my councilman. You
Yeah,
know.
I probably am.
Across the street, it's Allstott.
Yep.
I keep thinking
Keep
I'm going to
threatening.
move. I'm going to move across the street and run against Kim. It'll be
Yeah.
a fun spirited
Well, then
debate.
you can bring him on the air and ask him questions about what gender. he
Actually,
identifies.
I have contacted Kim, and he's going to be on a little bit later on.
Good. When's later?
I don't know.
I
we
wanna
haven't,
tune
we haven't
in.
got together.
I might have some questions for him. Anyway,
You and Kim are pals, and and Kim and I
I
didn't
get
get along
along-
there for a while. We get along okay now.
yeah, I get
Okay.
along with everybody. And
You're
we
the
have-
doctor of love. Right?
We have
I'm the doctor of truth. You are D-Love.
we have a lot of different personalities on the console. And again, like we talked about earlier, I don't agree with everybody all the time, but we all leave friends.
Mhm.
I think that's the way it should be. And I like the supervisors too.
Mhm.
I mean, I have good relationships with the supervisors. But anyway,
I'm going to miss Halder. Halder, dude, I'm going to miss. He's always abstaining.
I don't think he's going to go away. I think he's going to come back in a different form. I think he'll
Really?
come back. Yeah, I think he'll come back. He's not done. I think he's got.
he's going to come back
he's
to the
got his-
council or
no, I'm not sure council. I think he's not going to go away. I think
mayor.
Well, you never can tell.
You never can tell.
You never can tell. But he's got his passions. He's got his. We've tried to educate him on TIF, and he keeps disagreeing with us. But he thinks TIF is evil. But
I have
don't.
been wrestling with TIF for years.
Well, we
I
all
have
have.
talked to Dr. Peter Fisher, who's supposedly the statewide or even Midwest recognized expert in TIF. And I'm still not sure of all the different
Yeah.
applications and the way it's
You know,
funded. And
Matt, our wonderful mayor, is well informed on TIF, and Vicky's well informed, and I think and Jeff is well informed on it. And so those are the people I go to on TIF. The big thing with TIF is the question has to be asked: is the project going to progress without this money? And then we use it as an economic development tool. And so it's not necessarily is the project going to collapse if we don't give them $50,000 in TIF money. It's going to be generated by the tax increment, which means we're going to get the money back eventually. It does,
but it could be years.
It could be years, and normally it is, but it can't be more than 20. So if you get a big project like the mall project,
did we TIF the mall?
There's a certain percentage of that's going to be TIFed, and so but we're getting that back. I mean, we just gave them, I think, some of their TIF money because they've done the road work out there. They've got roads built, and they're going to build more of them, and that's primarily what it's for, is for the infrastructure, for the roads, the water, and the sewer. So sometimes you kind of scratch your head with the TIF, but again, we've got, I think, $2 million of TIF money sitting there available for the Warden Plaza, if and when that project ever goes. But we've already designated.
I think we're frozen in time with the Warden, aren't we?
Well, that's part of the discussion, but I mean, it's a never-ending process. But TIF is a very effective tool. Iowa is probably one of the, I guess, the bigger utilizers of TIF in the country. I think we've used it very
we
well.
TIF'd a Bass Pro Shop in Des Moines.
Yeah, some of the projects, I mean, we're kind of held up as an example of how to use TIF. I think Fort Dodge has been a very good example. And again, that all goes back to David and Jeff and Vicky, more or less understanding the process and knowing how to use it.
You have to walk a pretty fine line. And I will give credit to, David, and certainly Vicky is very, very capable, and Jeff Nemers as well. And Ferric, did this come from Ferric? I mean, was it his idea to start?
No, I think it's a combination. I mean, it's been an ongoing process, and I think people realize that it's one of the few ways that we can actually get projects done without being a burden on the taxpayers and on the government. So there's a lot of administrative work with this. I would hate to see we just hired or looking for another accountant down there, because with the broadband and with all the TIF projects we've got going, it takes a lot of got to be well organized. It's got to be a nightmare trying to keep all this stuff straight with paybacks and, when it's due. A lot of we have to renew the TIF on occasion, and, it's a lot of challenges. But anyway, getting back to the Heart of Iowa Trust Fund, like I said, Kim Page and Vicky have been working with this, as well as Hamilton County. In 2019, they did 22 projects in Webster County, primarily roofs and furnaces and, some other things, and windows. And they did 5 handicap bathroom remodels. I mean, what they're doing is improving, I would hate to say substandard, but let's just say houses that may eventually end up to be nuisance properties.
Mm-hmm.
What they're trying to do is to intervene, and they give them grant money. And they have to stay. They don't have to, but if they stay in their house for 5 years, that money is forgiven. So they actually get a $10,000 grant to do something that they may not be able to do by themselves.
Right.
And if you get a roof on your house, then obviously it's a lot better for the whole house structure. It's not going to deteriorate as quickly. So this money's been, I think, well administered. They meet on a fairly regular basis with Hamilton County. We've done 19 projects. They've done 5 projects, I think, or 22 projects in Webster County and 15 in Hamilton County. And they've got applications for 19 more properties in Webster County and 5 in Hamilton. So it's a application-based process. I think it's income-based. If you have income of a radio announcer, then you probably don't need this kind of help. But if you're
go again.
If you're a low,
you and Cranbrook, we have so much more money than you, Mike. We're just huge. You used to do that all the time when I first met you. Yes, I have zillions of dollars with me right now. Yes. I went into a Miami car dealership, and they had a baby grand piano in the showroom, and I didn't.
Bought 3 Cadillacs. gave them away to homeless people on the street. Elvis and I.
No.
But anyway, that is a use.
If you go to a car dealership in Miami and all you have is 10 grand in your pocket, they'll tell you to get your big white butt back to Sioux Falls.
Good down payment. But anyway, that is an example of how the TIF money is benefiting the community. Again, we're looking at low to moderate income housing. A lot of the properties that are being built now are $250,000, which they call affordable housing. To me, affordable house in this community is in the 100 to 150 range, but contractors I've talked to said they can't build a house for that kind of money. But we did last year. We went down to Newton, down to the prison, and they are building houses down there, $75,000. They have several different models available, and they will deliver $75,000 for a house. It's a two bedroom, 1 bath house, and you can put a basement under them. They can put a staircase going down, and it's not the Taj Mahal, but it's a good basic house. And there's areas in town that we can repurpose, put a basement in, plumbing and heating, is going to add a little bit of money to it. But, eventually I think if the city was to do that, we could probably sell the house for 125 with the lot and everything ready to go. And then we could just buy another one and keep moving and create a community of these little houses. And I think it would be a great way to start using some of our low to moderate income housing money that we have available that we're obligated to spend. Not everybody can afford that $250,000 house.
No,
so we got to find
just you and a couple other guys.
Yeah. Well, my house wasn't nearly that much, but anyway, there's
more, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. It was actually, when I bought my house, it was $90,000.
Really?
Yep. And worth.
You were stepping down though from the ranch.
Yeah, I stepped down the ranch. Yeah, stepped down from the ranch. But anyway, it's low to moderate income housing as a byproduct of TIF is I think a important thing that we'll be looking at over the next few years. I would like to see some of those houses bought and brought into town, if nothing else, as kind of a model home to show people what is available. Working with the local bankers, we've got a good relationship with all the bankers in town. But the city might have to, bite the bullet and actually buy and bring in one of these houses just to show what's available. And I think once they're available, it would definitely help with the housing situation in town. A lot of our houses, that people are looking at, either older houses that require a lot of work or they're newer houses that nobody can afford. So we're going to try to find something in that niche. And I hope in the next few months, maybe we can convince somebody at City Hall to loosen up the pocketbooks and we can get some.
Who do we have to convince?
David.
Oh, well.
Yeah. So, but
he knows what headlock is.
Yeah. We have another GEO bond coming up next year, but we've been tapping into that pretty heavy. Every project, it seems like we're a little bit over budget. We've got to borrow against future borrowing. So it's getting a little tight. We're talking already that we're not going to have very many projects available that we can put on the next GEO bond because we've already kind of tapped into it. But, we're hoping to get a lot of things done, a lot of things happening. Central River District, 3rd Avenue Northwest. We got the mall redevelopment, got $17 million for that entertainment center, which is still being debated as far as what's going to happen there. A lot of pretty pictures, a lot of good ideas. I would like to see 5th Avenue South. It's kind of wavy there between like 21st and 25th, by the railroad tracks over there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's time to look at redoing something over there. So there's all kinds of things that are happening, but, circling back, the road construction, 5th Avenue South is open now, 1 lane, but the crosswalks down there are falling apart. So they got new concrete down about 100 yards. And then you hit that crosswalk and it's like going across the desert. It's bad. So I don't know if they had it closed. I don't know why they didn't do it all at once, but
sure.
That's an engineering issue that
we'll
probably have to close it again to fix it. But,
all right.
The
Reverend Dr. Terry Minke has been our guest. Thank you so much, Terry.
No problem.
Very informative. 3 o'clock. State Senator Jesse Green is next. This is AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge, broadcasting from the Blue Ribbon Pelham Waters studio at 612 South 32nd Street here in Fort Dodge. Contact Blue Ribbon Pelham Waters by calling 576-6481 or at www.fortdodgefdwater.com. Thank you very much.
This is Gary Rima, the voice of the UNI Panthers, and you can listen to exciting Panther sports right here on the voice of Fort Dodge, AM 1400.